The power of restraint lies in the understanding that not every situation requires a response, and not every action demands an immediate reaction. In a world where speed, noise, and constant engagement are often seen as the measure of success, restraint offers a different kind of strength. It's about recognizing that the true power often resides in knowing when to hold back, when to stay quiet, and when to observe rather than engage. This is not weakness or passivity, but a deliberate choice to control one's actions and words in the face of temptation or provocation. Restraint is a form of emotional intelligence. It requires self-awareness and an understanding of the impact our words and actions can have on a situation. Too often, people act out of impulse or emotion, leading to words that cannot be taken back or actions that can't be undone. But when you practice restraint, you tap into a deeper understanding of the moment. You begin to realize that not everything demands a reaction, and that sometimes responding too quickly can actually escalate a situation, create unnecessary drama, or diminish your own standing in the eyes of others. Think about the moments in life when we are most tempted to speak out, to defend ourselves, or to prove our point. When someone challenges us, belittles us, or questions our integrity, the immediate response is often one of defense. It's natural to feel that our identity and dignity are at stake. But in these moments, the real power is not in proving our point or correcting the record, but in resisting the urge to do so. Restraint allows us to let go of the need for external validation. It offers the freedom to remain calm and centered even when the world around us is chaotic or hostile. One of the most powerful aspects of restraint is that it doesn't mean we are weak or incapable of standing up for ourselves. In fact, restraint often requires more strength than reacting impulsively. It takes a level of emotional discipline to resist the urge to respond to every slight or challenge. It takes maturity to recognize that some battles are not worth fighting, and that sometimes silence speaks louder than words ever could. In choosing not to react, we allow the situation to play out on its own, often revealing more about the other party than it does about us. In many cases, our silence or restraint can actually shift the dynamics of a situation. It forces others to confront their own behavior or words. Instead of escalating a conflict or fueling a misunderstanding, we give the other person room to reflect on their actions. This can create an opportunity for growth, not only for us, but for those around us as well. When we step back and choose silence, we allow the other person to take the lead, often bringing them to a place where they realize their misstep and in turn seek reconciliation or understanding. Moreover, restraint helps us maintain our peace of mind. In a culture that often prioritizes quick fixes and constant responses, taking a step back gives us the space to breathe, reflect, and make decisions from a place of clarity rather than reaction. It's in these moments of stillness that we connect with our true selves, free from the noise and pressure of the world. Self-restraint is often misunderstood as simply the ability to refrain from impulsive actions or desires. However, true self-restraint goes much deeper. It's the ability to harness your emotions, thoughts, and impulses to align with your higher purpose and long-term goals. It's not just about resisting temptation in the moment, but about cultivating a mindset and discipline that allows you to act with intention, regardless of how you feel in any given circumstance. This level of control is not a sign of weakness, but in fact a sign of profound inner strength. When we talk about self-restraint as strength, we're acknowledging that real power comes from within. The strength of self-restraint lies in the ability to choose how we respond to life's challenges and temptations. The world is full of distractions, pressures, and forces that push us to react, often out of frustration, anger, or insecurity. But self-restraint means recognizing these triggers and deciding in that moment not to give in to them. It's about making the conscious decision to rise above fleeting emotions or external provocations and choosing instead to act in a way that reflects our values, not our impulses. Self-restraint requires emotional intelligence. When faced with a difficult situation or an emotional trigger, it's easy to let our feelings dictate our actions. Anger, jealousy, fear, or even hurt can lead us to make decisions that we later regret. Self-restraint allows us to step back from our immediate emotional reactions and to reflect before responding. It doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring our emotions. Rather, it means acknowledging them without letting them control our actions. True self-radiology is about acting from a place of clarity, not chaos. It's about being able to hold space for your emotions without allowing them to dictate the course of your actions. The strength of self-control is also reflected in our ability to delay gratification. In a world that thrives on instant access and immediate rewards, the ability to resist short-term pleasures in favor of long-term benefits is an increasingly rare and powerful trait. Whether it's in our personal lives, our work, or our relationships, the ability to stay focused on the bigger picture and make decisions that will benefit us in the long run is a true sign of strength. This kind of self-restraint builds resilience and endurance, allowing us to weather challenges and persevere through adversity without giving up or giving in to the easier path. Self-restraint is also about knowing your limits. It's about understanding when to push forward and when to pull back, when to take action and when to wait. The strength in knowing your boundaries allows you to protect your peace and well-being without feeling guilty or overwhelmed. In many ways, self-restraint empowers us to prioritize our needs and desires in a way that is healthy and sustainable. One of the most powerful aspects of self-betrayal is how it shapes our relationships. When we respond to others from a place of emotional balance rather than reactionary impulses, we build trust and respect. People are drawn to those who exhibit emotional maturity and can remain composed even in the face of adversity. Self-betrayal creates an environment of stability and safety for those around us. And it shows others that we are not easily swayed by external forces. This fosters a sense of confidence in our ability to lead, support, and navigate life's challenges with grace. Timing is everything. It's not just about what you do or how you do it, but when you do it. Timing has the power to make or break a situation, a decision, or a relationship. It's a subtle yet powerful force that shapes the outcome of nearly everything in life. Often we underestimate the importance of timing, thinking that if we act with enough effort or passion, the results will naturally follow. But in reality, timing is often the determining factor between success and failure, between harmony and conflict, between growth and stagnation. At its core, timing is about alignment, the alignment of your actions with the right moment, the right context, and the right opportunity. When you act too soon, you may miss crucial information, or your efforts may feel rushed or out of place. When you act too late, the opportunity may have passed, and your influence may be diminished. It's about understanding that some things need to be nurtured, some things need to wait, and some things need to unfold at their own pace. The key is knowing when to move forward and when to hold back. In the world of decision-making, timing is crucial. Often people are quick to jump into decisions without fully considering the long-term consequences or the current environment. Whether it's in business, relationships, or personal growth, making hasty decisions can lead to missteps, wasted effort, or even regret. The wisdom of timing teaches us to pause, to reflect, and to wait for the right moment to make our move. This doesn't mean procrastination or fear of commitment, but rather a strategic approach to the timing of our actions. Sometimes, waiting for the right moment isn't a sign of hesitation, but a sign of wisdom. In relationships, timing plays an equally significant role. It's not just about choosing when to speak, but about knowing when to listen, when to give space, and when to step forward. Every relationship has its rhythms, and the key to harmony is understanding when to align yourself with those rhythms. For instance, in times of conflict, The right moment to engage can make all the difference. But if we approach someone too soon, before they are ready to hear us, our words can fall on deaf ears or escalate tensions unnecessarily. But if we wait until the right moment, when emotions have settled, we create the space for understanding and reconciliation. Timing isn't just about speed. It's about emotional intelligence, the ability to sense when others are ready and receptive. Moreover, timing is essential in personal growth. It's easy to become impatient with ourselves, to rush through life and expect immediate results. We want to be better, to grow faster, to overcome challenges quickly. But growth, like any natural process, takes time. Just like planting a seed in the soil and waiting for it to sprout, our personal development follows its own timeline. If we rush the process or try to force growth, we risk stunting our potential. Understanding that growth has its own pace allows us to embrace the process without frustration and to trust that in time, the results will come. In business or in any pursuit that requires long-term investment, timing is a game changer. Whether it's launching a new product, making an important hire, or entering a new market, the timing of these actions can significantly affect their success. Acting too early before preparation is complete, or entering the market when it's oversaturated, can lead to failure. But the right timing, when the market is ready, when resources are in place, and when the conditions align, can lead to breakthrough success. In every aspect of life, the power of timing cannot be overstated. It teaches us patience, strategy, and awareness. It shows us that success is often less about rushing toward our goals and more about knowing when to take the right steps. Letting people see your worth is one of the most profound acts of self-awareness and strength. It's easy to get caught up in the need to prove ourselves to others. We live in a world where validation often feels like a prerequisite for success, and we might be tempted to continuously prove our value through our actions, words, or appearances. However, there is immense power in letting people see your worth without the need to announce it. True value doesn't need to be loudly proclaimed. It is most effective when it stands for itself, quietly asserting itself through consistency, integrity, and authenticity. When we talk about letting people see your worth, we're talking about showing up in a way that reflects your true character, your skills, your values, and your potential, without having to force that revelation. Often, when we try too hard to show our worth to others, we end up doing the opposite. The effort to convince people can make us appear insecure or desperate for approval. It's in those moments that we risk losing the very thing we're trying to demonstrate, our authenticity. True self-worth doesn't need to be validated by others. It needs to be embodied by us. When we live in alignment with our values and stand confidently in who we are, others will begin to take notice. A key part of letting people see your worth is learning to trust that your actions will speak louder than your words. Too often we feel the need to justify ourselves, explain our decisions, or chase after acknowledgement. But real value doesn't need validation in the form of constant explanations. It shines through our work ethic, the way we treat others, and the way we hold ourselves in difficult situations. And it's in the quality of our efforts and our consistency over time, and in the way we navigate adversity with grace. By simply showing up and giving our best without the need for recognition, we allow others to observe the depth of our worth. Another essential aspect of letting people see your worth is understanding the value of patience. People won't always recognize your value immediately. Sometimes they need time to see your actions align with your words. They need time to witness your character in action, your dedication in practice, and your perseverance through challenges. Who knows? Often, people will initially judge us based on surface level impressions or assumptions. But when we stay consistent and true to ourselves, we allow their understanding of our worth to deepen over time. In many cases, The more you hold back from proving yourself and instead let your actions unfold, the more others will begin to recognize your strength. So there's a deeper aspect of worth that is connected to the way we treat others. A person who is truly secure in their value doesn't need to diminish or belittle others in order to lift themselves up. Instead, they lift those around them, offering support, encouragement, and empathy. When we show genuine respect for others and create a space for others to shine, it only amplifies our own worth. When people see that you are a person who builds others up, who offers more than you take, and who serves without expecting anything in return, they begin to recognize the true depth of your character. Lastly, letting people see your worth is about being patient with yourself. We all have moments of self-doubt or insecurities, but the key to allowing others to see our worth is being at peace with who we are. If we constantly seek to change ourselves to fit someone else's idea of value, we lose sight of our own authenticity. Embracing your uniqueness, your strengths, and even your weaknesses allows you to show up as the most complete version of yourself. It's in that space of self-acceptance that others begin to see you for who you truly are, and more importantly, for what you truly offer. Don't chase validation. It's one of the most liberating truths you can learn in life. In a world that constantly seeks approval and recognition, whether through social media likes, professional accolades, or personal relationships, the urge to chase validation can feel overwhelming. But the truth is, seeking validation from others often leads to dissatisfaction, insecurity, and a never-ending cycle of needing more. True fulfillment doesn't come from external validation, it comes from within. When we chase validation, we are essentially looking for someone else to confirm our worth. It's an external form of reassurance, where our value is tied to the opinions and recognition of others. The danger of this is that people's views are fleeting, subjective, and often shaped by their own biases, insecurities, or priorities. When we place our worth in the hands of others, we relinquish control of our own sense of identity and value. Validation becomes a moving target, and no matter how many times we receive it, it's never enough to truly satisfy us. The pursuit of validation often leads to a constant comparison game. We look at what others are doing, how they are succeeding, and how they are perceived, and we measure ourselves against those standards. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if we just do things the way others do them, or if we can get the right recognition, we will finally feel good enough. But the problem with comparison is that it's never an accurate measure of self-worth. It only highlights perceived gaps and fosters feelings of inadequacy. The more we chase validation, the further we move away from the understanding that our value is not defined by external factors, but by our inner being. Realizing that you don't need to chase validation is an act of self-empowerment. It means trusting in your own judgment and being confident in who you are, regardless of whether others affirm it. This self-assurance doesn't come from arrogance or neglecting others' feedback. It comes from a deep inner conviction that your value is intrinsic and not contingent on the opinions of others. When you stop chasing validation, you become free to make decisions based on your own beliefs, desires, and aspirations. You stop second-guessing yourself and start living authentically, guided by your own principles and understanding of what truly matters. And that means you've got to make your own decisions. You've got to decide for yourself what truly matters. Moreover, not chasing validation gives you the freedom to pursue your passions without the fear of judgment or failure. So many people hold back from taking risks or following their true calling because they fear they won't be accepted or validated by others. But when you stop seeking approval, you begin to take bolder steps, pursuing what feels right to you without worrying about fitting into others' expectations. It's only when you're free from the need for validation that you can start to create, innovate, and express yourself in ways that are true to who you are. Another powerful aspect of not chasing validation is the peace it brings. When your worth is not dependent on the approval of others, you experience a greater sense of inner calm. You stop reacting to every comment or opinion that comes your way, and instead you are able to stay grounded in your own beliefs. This inner peace allows you to live more fully in the present moment, enjoying life for what it is, rather than constantly seeking the next external confirmation that you're on the right track. Ultimately, not chasing validation is about reclaiming your power. It's about accepting that you are enough just as you are without needing others to constantly affirm that truth. It allows you to be free from the chains of comparison and to embrace your unique path, knowing that your value is not up for negotiation. By letting go of the need for external validation, you step into a life of authenticity, where you are driven by purpose, not by the need for approval. Revelation through silence is one of the most profound truths we can understand about the power of quietude in a world that thrives on noise. In our fast-paced, always conceptive world, silence can feel uncomfortable, unnatural, or even empty. Yet it is in those moments of silence that true revelation can occur. Revelation not only about the world around us, but also about ourselves. Silence is not just the absence of sound. It is the presence of clarity, insight, and deep understanding. When we talk about revelation through silence, we are talking about the moments when the noise of life fades away and we can finally hear what really matters. In a world that constantly bombards us with information, distractions, and expectations, it can be difficult to tune out the external noise and listen to what is going on within. Silence gives us the opportunity to hear our inner voice, to reflect on our thoughts, and to uncover truths that may have been buried beneath the surface. It is in these moments of quiet that we often gain the insight and clarity needed to make wise decisions, understand our true desires, and connect with our deeper sense of purpose. This is Lori Hicks. This is Oceanic Obscuration. And revelation through silence is also about observation. When we stop talking, stop reacting, and stop pushing for control, we give ourselves the chance to truly observe the world around us. We can see things more clearly, hear what others are really saying, and understand situations more fully. Often, in our desire to speak and make our presence known, we miss important details or fail to see the bigger picture. But when we step back and embrace silence, we allow ourselves to gather the information we need to make more informed, thoughtful decisions. The art of observation, powered by silence, provides us with the wisdom to act with greater intention and understanding. Moreover, silence allows us to listen, not just to the world, but to others. In conversations, we often feel the pressure to speak, to fill the void, or to prove our point. But the real revelation comes when we choose to listen deeply, without interrupting or rushing to speak. In these moments of deep listening, we gain insight into the hearts and minds of others. We understand their fears, desires, and motivations in a way that we couldn't if we were busy preparing our response. True connection and understanding come not from speaking, but from being present in silence, allowing the other person to share without the need for constant validation or judgment. Silence also reveals truth in a way that words sometimes cannot. There are moments in life when we are confronted with difficult situations, painful emotions, or complex challenges. Often the natural instinct is to try to explain, defend, or resolve everything with words. But silence has a unique way of bringing clarity to situations that words can't always capture. It allows the truth to emerge from the depths of the situation without the interference of our egos or emotions. In those moments of stillness, the truth is revealed not through the noise of explanations, but through the quiet wisdom that arises when we simply allow things to be. Additionally, silence creates space for growth and transformation. It allows us to step back and reflect on our experiences, to process what we've learned, and to make adjustments to our path. In moments of silence, we have the opportunity to shed old beliefs, habits, and patterns that no longer serve us. It is in this stillness that we can reconnect with our purpose, realign our goals, and become more attuned to the person we are becoming. The revelation that comes from silence is often not an immediate insight, but a gradual unfolding, a slow and steady process of growth that requires patience, trust, and openness. Even if it's just a wavering like that, revelation through silence is also a powerful tool for personal empowerment. It teaches us that we don't need to constantly assert our presence, dominate conversations, or seek approval. We are enough in our quietness, and through our silence, we allow the essence of who we are to shine through without the need for external validation. In a world that values constant activity and noise, silence is a rare and powerful gift. It is in these moments of quiet that we are able to hear the deepest truths about ourselves and the world around us. Let your absence speak is a powerful concept that reflects the subtle strength found in not always having to be present or engaged. In a society that places so much value on visibility, constant interaction, and being seen, the idea that absence can communicate just as strongly, if not more so, can be difficult to embrace. However, true power often lies in knowing when to step back, when to withhold, and when to let the space around you do the talking. Absence can be a statement in itself. When we choose to remove ourselves from a situation, it can speak volumes about our priorities, our values, and our self-respect. It's not about ignoring others or withdrawing out of spite, but about creating a purposeful distance that allows for reflection, growth, and an understanding of what truly matters. Sometimes being present in every moment, every conversation, or every event can dilute your impact. Your absence, on the other hand, creates a void, a space where your presence was once felt. And in that absence, people begin to realize its significance, its destiny, its specifically to your life. Your Texas area assignment, the assignment that God has placed on you. When you let your absence speak, you give others the opportunity to appreciate your presence in a way they wouldn't if you were always available. In relationships, for instance, the constant availability of one person can sometimes be taken for granted. They may assume that you will always be there, always available for every call or request. But when you step back and allow yourself to be less accessible, it can provoke a sense of longing or appreciation in others. They begin to notice what they had and, more importantly, what they might lose if they continue to take you for granted. Absence in this context is not a form of manipulation, but rather a way of showing others the value you bring, something they may overlook when you are always within reach. This concept also extends to professional settings. A person who is constantly at the forefront, constantly visible and engaged, can sometimes lose their mystique, their influence, or their ability to command respect. But when you choose to step back, take time for yourself, or let others take the lead, your absence can create a sense of intrigue. People will begin to realize your absence is not a sign of weakness, but rather a display of strategic positioning. You don't need to be involved in every meeting, every decision, or every conversation to be influential. In fact, when you allow others the space to lead or take charge, you allow them to step up while simultaneously demonstrating that your value isn't measured by constant engagement. Your absence in these moments signals that you trust others to handle things, and your confidence in their ability enhances your presence, even in your physical absence. Letting your absence speak is also deeply tied to personal boundaries and self-respect. In situations where you feel disrespected, undervalued, or overextended, removing yourself temporarily or permanently can communicate that you are not willing to engage with situations or people that do not honor you. This absence isn't about cutting ties recklessly. It's about asserting that your time and energy are valuable and you choose to invest them only in environments that align with your worth. In doing so, you teach others how to treat you, setting a standard for respect and consideration. The absence of your participation, attention, or presence in unhealthy environments or toxic relationships speaks volumes louder than any words could. Moreover, the absence of unnecessary commentary or opinions can also be a powerful form of communication. Often we feel compelled to speak, to defend, or to provide our input in every situation. But there are times when silence, or simply refraining from giving your perspective, speaks louder than any words ever could. It conveys that you are discerning, that you know when to speak and when not to. Your absence in a conversation can force others to reflect, to consider their own thoughts more carefully, and to come to their conclusions without relying on your input. In a world that constantly encourages us to be active, to be seen, and to be heard, learning the power of absence is an essential tool for maintaining balance, integrity, and respect. Let your absence speak, and in doing so, you allow the power of who you are to resonate even in the spaces you intentionally leave behind. In a world that often values visibility, speed, and constant engagement, the true power lies in knowing when to step back, be silent, and let your absence speak for itself. The strength found in restraint, self-control, and timing teaches us that we don't need to chase validation or constantly prove our worth to others. Our value is not dependent on the approval or recognition of the outside world, but rather on our inner strength and authenticity. Silence, absence, and restraint have the power to reveal deeper truths, to allow for growth, and to command respect in a way that words or constant presence cannot. By embracing these principles, we can cultivate a life of purpose, clarity, and peace. Ultimately, the power is not in our actions or in constantly being in the spotlight, but in knowing when to step back and let the world recognize the strength that lies within us.